You know what time it is. Remember, this is already the second round. The winner of these matchups goes to the semifinals. We are not far away from crowning a champion who gets a little special something from the Jesse Kelly Show. Somalia and Sudan, just out of respect, before we go into it, are both so worthy. And both of them, both of you, Somalia, Sudan, talking to both of you should feel a great deal of pride in how awful you are. You're both champions in my mind, but there can only be one.
It's the 2025 crappiest country in the world competition. Tonight's matchup is between Somalia and Sudan. Brought to you by POS Cars. Nothing but lemons.
I should note before we get into it, the winner of this matchup takes on India on Tuesday. So that's going to be quite a barn burner. Anyway, let's recap it. Let's get acquainted with Somalia from afar, of course. Somalia has to be considered a favorite, certainly a number one seed, to win the entire thing. Niger, that dump we just talked about, squared off against Somalia. And remember, you get to vote on this. It's on the show's Jesse Kelly Show Twitter page. Somalia got 90% of the vote, which is oddly ironic because whichever warlord currently has the most guns in Somalia usually gets 90% of the vote. Somalia, the entire thing is level 4. You know, run-of-the-mill crimes we've gotten used to by now. Crime, terrorism, kidnapping. By the way, terrorism is a little bit deeper and more embedded in Somalia. We're talking car bombs, suicide vests. Don't think just because it seems peaceful it is. That Subaru Outback might not be driven by a lesbian, might actually be driven by a Muslim extremist getting ready to set off that nail bomb in front of you and your family. Somalia also mixes in a healthy dose of piracy, which is well known by now. Horn of Africa, a bunch of dirtballs with AK-47s driving up the ships, killing everybody, doing the standard pirate thing. Somalia is so severe, the risk of kidnapping or death is so high, they actually advise that you scrub your social media account completely if you ever visit there. Why, you ask? Because when you get kidnapped, which is almost inevitable, the group who kidnaps you is probably going to peruse your Instagram account, and if they see a woman showing her shoulders, she's probably going to get her head cut off. Female genital mutilation might be the most disgusting practice I have ever heard about. I will not explain it on this show because there are children listening. Just know it's actually worse than you imagine. It happens in Somalia, but bad things happen everywhere, of course. The question is, how prevalent is it? I'm glad you asked. It's 99%. 70% of Somalia lives in extreme poverty. The country is run by warlords and terrorists. The only good news I have out of Somalia is so many of the bad people have left Somalia. Of course, the bad news is they're all now in Minneapolis. That was Somalia. Quite the worthy contender. But let's keep in mind that Sudan, and I'm not asking BK because they just had a big mosque bombing. Sudan could easily win it all. They are in the middle of a civil war. It's happening now. It's freaking awful. Let's meet Sudan. Sudan is such a war-torn dump that they closed the embassy 2 years ago. In April of 2023, they flat out said there are no more American personnel here. We are leaving. There is a civil war between two gigantic factions. And it is, as per usual, not a civil war taking place way out in the hinterlands where it won't affect normal people, men, women, and children. The bulk of the killing in this civil war has taken place in their capital city. We are talking about mass graves. But that's bad news. Here's some wonderful news. They're used to it. Since 1956, there have been 20 coup attempts in their government. We'll call this African term limits. You don't have to worry about hating your politician. Someone will assassinate him and replace him at any given moment. in maybe the worst freaking thing I've ever heard in my life. This civil war has cost the lives of over 500,000 children, and this is a country that is only 5% Christian. It's 90%, 91% Muslim, and the Christians are facing what amounts to essentially a genocide. They are being slaughtered wherever they are found. They are not a level 3 in the State Department travel advisory. Sudan is flat out a level 4. The United States State Department says, don't come here. We cannot guarantee your safety. This is a place that really, they don't even have an airport. The capital city's airport has shut down because if you happen to get on a Delta flight, you better hope they have a really advanced radar system and some flares because a missile is probably going to take you out of the sky. All right. I say we have to pick a winner, but I am starting to get concerned. My concern is for all the other teams in the tournament. You know, when I used to watch the NFL all the time, there was something you always watched out for because you'd consider that team a favorite to win the Super Bowl. It's not just the team that's winning. Is there a team that's dominating everybody they fight, everybody they play? When you see that, you usually think to yourself, that team might win the Super Bowl. In the first round, didn't Somalia get 90%, Chris? 91% of your vote in the first round? Somalia just took on Sudan, a country in the middle of a civil war, and still got 92% of the vote. I am starting to get concerned that this tournament is not going to be close. With all the other contenders out there, the Afghanistans, the Indias, that all the other contenders out there, Somalia looks like a juggernaut, and I don't know if they can be stopped. I don't know if they can be. But, hey, credit where it's due. Big congrats, Somalia. It really is a terrible place. And I know I've never been, but I have a lot of military friends, a lot of veteran friends who have been. And when they found out about the tournament, we've all been laughing about it. Pretty much to a man, they said, oh, that's the winner. That's the winner. It's bad. It's really, really bad.